his name. I'm going to need for the non-believers. I'm going to need for the ones that know they was raised right, that their parents raised them to believe in Jesus Christ, to believe in him. I'm going to need you to say his name. I'm going to need for you to stop acting scared and acting like you don't know Jesus Christ. Okay, that you're afraid to say his name. You're afraid to say his name that maybe your homeboy will disassociate himself from you. You're afraid to say his name because maybe the homegirl ain't going to look at you the same. You're afraid to say his name because maybe you're not going to get the points that you need. You're afraid to say his name because you think you're not going to get that position. You're afraid to say his name and that you know him because maybe you're not going to say his name. I'm going to need for the non-believers.
Yeah, I'd like to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rukakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well, to the elders in Connecticut, to the brothers Four Winds, preaching their truth and sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To you sisters, you Akwatium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, Shalom. This is your brother Aram Yahweh with the lesson. This is 2 Corinthians 10, and I'm doing this because we was at camp one day, and a lady and her daughter, which she may or may not have been a Edomite, right? Because she was a the lady said she was Italian, and you know that the Moors basically ran Italy, and a lot of those Italians are actually Israelites, right? So she may or may not be, but the thing is her whole thing was saying Jesus, 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 right? So those things are what? Lies. Those are cleverly taught lies, right? So it says 2 Corinthians 10:3, though we walk in the flesh, right? Because we're just men. At this point, we're just men. We just have on this flesh, but the Lord has given us a knowledge that surpasses this flesh, right? We do not war after the flesh, right? Because in this flesh, it's nothing. The things that you can't see are realer than the things that you see. That's why you could see a homeless man walking down the street talking to himself. Now you see him, but really in all in all, he's in battle with a demon and he's losing. The demon got him walking down the street bugged out. Right? See, but now that because I used to see that. I used to live on like close to downtown Phoenix when I grew up as a kid. You see homeless people all the time. You used to see them talking to themselves all the time. And you'd be like, dang, this is crazy. Especially you being a kid. But now coming into the truth and the Lord showing us that those are spirits, man. And the Lord, and those things that you can't see are realer than the things that you can. Right? That's just that flesh you can see. So we don't war after the flesh. Our war is in the spiritual realm. For the warfare, for the weapons, right, of our warfare are not carnal, right? And what's the weapon? The weapon is what? The scriptures first and foremost, right? But then what are you getting from the scriptures? Long suffering, patience, temperance, right? Forgiveness, faith, right? Building that all up. And those are all weapons for this world, man. Right? So it says, yeah, not carnal, but mighty, right? Through Yahweh Shem Shai. It is mighty through power, which is Yahweh Shem Shai, come through Yahweh Shem Shai, to the pulling down of strongholds, right? Because ultimately these lies of who the world only calls Jesus Christ, because it's like, say the name Jesus, say it as if that's gonna benefit you, man. Right? The word Jesus is Greek, right? Some of the elders say that if you even go into the meaning of Jesus, it means earth pig. Or you could just say it don't mean nothing, because the letter J is newly created. Right? Okay, yeah. So this is Quora.com. If the letter J wasn't invented until basically the 1600s, how did Jesus get his name 1300 years ago, right? So, and really it's more like the 1500s when it happened. I can't remember the name of the guy who created it, but it was an Edomite, a self-proclaimed white man, created the letter J in the 1500s. So you should be inquiring, wanting to know how is that? What was his name, right? It says because God name, which God just means power, and it's not the name of the Lord, right? Allah goes into power, or you say God, right? But it's a name of Jehovah, right? Right? And there's no E's and no V's in the Hebrew, in the Paleo Hebrew, in the ancient Hebrew, because they're gonna give you say Hebrew translations appears with the consonants and vowels sounds in the Adofa, Adoba Codex, Adoba, or how do you say it? Codex, and in many writings of Hebrew scholars, right? Over thousands of these Hebrew writings with all of the vowel and consonants present in what they say is, because they normally they'll put it with a J, right? So it'd be Jehovah, right? Because they're trying to add that. So they're trying to say, no, there's no letter J. It was actually supposed to be Jehovah, right? But then if you go into the so-called Jewish, they'll tell you Yahweh. So where did you get Yahweh from if it's Jehovah? right? Don't make sense. You're just a bowl of confusion, and you're saying you have consonants and vowels. Yeah, so matter of fact, to prove that there's no vowels or no E's or none of that stuff, I have a app that has the ancient Hebrew in it, right? The ancient Paleo Hebrew. So learn the letters. Okay, learn letters. See? A, ba, ga, da. Ka, za, wa, ha, la, ka, ya, ta. See? This makes like a I sound or O sound, but it's not a
I.
See? It's shaped, it's supposed to be shaped like an I, right? Circle like an I, so it's make an I sound, right? But that's not right. Sa, na, ma, ra, qua, taz, taza, right?
Taza.
Taza and pa, right? No E's, no V's, right? And this is the ancient Paleo Hebrew, right? Is a stronghold in our people's mind, right? So this goes into that, and it says to cast down imaginations and every high thought that exalteth itself against the knowledge of Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, and bringing it into captivity, every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach, right? So we're trying to speak to our people and bring your mind into obedience to Hamashiach, right? So we're going to show you that it has everything to do with your mind, right? Because that's the thing that they did. The mind manipulation of of giving of turning the J from an I to a J, but then also that's still Greek, right? And the Lord is a Hebrew, it's an Israelite, so he will be speaking Hebrew. His name is in the Hebrew. So let's look at this imaginations.
Strong's G 3053. Lagismas. Lagismas.
To lagismas. He said a reckoning, a compensation, right? A reasoning such as is hostile to the Christian faith and really to the Israelites. We're not Christian, we're the Israelites, but yeah, they did call us Christians before, and it was actually meant to be a derogatory term, right? But through the knowing of the laws of our fathers and knowing who our ancient cultures, our ancient alphabet, that's hostile to give us a J, right? Or even an I, that's hostile towards our faith, right? And the belief of our God, right? Right, which only died for the Israelites, which is really our customs. It's more than just faith, it's our customs, it's our lifestyle. A judgment, right, so we could bring that to a better judgment, right? You know, decision such as conscience passes, right? So as your conscience is, as you're walking by, are things to put in your conscience, which is your mind, your lob, your heart, your mind, the right thing, right? It said to the obedience of Hamashiach, to bring it to the obedience of who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, which his real name is Yahweh Shai, right? So this has a root to it. Just go into that root. Basically reckoning, count over. Yet, hey, put your conscience back into the thing to make it count over. Like, you know what I mean? Because, you know, now a person skips accidentally, and then they go back and they go, oh, okay, I was wrong. That's basically what's in your mind. You got this imagination that's wrong. To one's account, to take into account, to make an account, right? Equivalent, not equivalent, because Yahweh or Jehovah is equivalent, but it's not that. It's not the truth, right? That's how you know they got deeper, because now there's another root going into further. Let's see.
Strong's G 3056. Logos.
Yeah.
Logos.
Logos. Of a speech, right? Because you're trying to say the name of the Lord. A word uttered, right? The name of the Lord, you utter it. A living voice embodies look, I like this, of the moral precepts given by God, right? And ultimately that's what they have done. They took what the precepts, the things that the Most High gave to you to know who his son is, and gave you BS for your imagination. It says this is Entomology Online. It says imagination, faculties of the mind which form and manipulate images. So we want to bring those into captivity, that you're not forming and manipulating images within your mind that's false, right? Because that's ultimately what it is. That's part of your imagination, that the letter J is significant, that you think that saying Jesus has power, that's a manipulation. Yeah, so this is 2 Maccabees chapter 6 verse 1. Yeah, so you know, nothing but a mind manipulation, a bowl of confusion, right? Because this is nothing new that the self-proclaimed so-called white man did. He did it back in the days as the Greeks, right? He did it in the time when he was the Romans, and now we're in the second leg of Rome. So it's no surprise that they're giving you mind manipulation by saying that you could call him Jesus, right? It says, not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers, right? And it's the same thing that they have in now, man. You got the vocabs, you got the, I don't know, Sakari had watched something, because some dude went on Sinetta. What was the dude name? He something with like the Church of Berea. Oh, Berea, yeah, something about Berea, whatever. He was supposed to be naming himself after the church of Berea. But he's there to deceive you, man, to lead you from the laws of our fathers and not living after the laws of Yahweh, man, right? And to pollute the temple, right, in Jerusalem. So you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian of Indian and Negro descent, and you Israelite that's around the world who your bloodline goes back to Israel, right? You are Jerusalem and you are the temple. Your body is the temple. And that's pollution to say Jesus, man, right? It's pollution to eat shrimp, pork, crab, lobster. It's pollution to kill your brother, to sell drugs to your brother, man. It's pollution, right? And to call it a temple of Jupiter, Olympus, and in that gargism of Jupiter, right? Whatever that name is. But yeah, but they're trying to get you to basically call yourself something else because you're a people before a place. So now you got to call yourself Mexican. Now you got to call yourself Black, Haitian, Jamaican, all these different other names, but not Jerusalem. They don't want you to call yourself Jerusalem, right? They want you to call your temple by what they came up with, right? And that says, of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, and that's ultimately what they want you to do, and which that's what a lot of you jakes do. You defend the self-proclaimed so-called white man, and that's the one you bring up all the time. We mentioned all the nations can't make it, but what about the white man? That's the first thing coming to you Jake's mind. To be a defender of the stranger, of the Edomite stranger on top of that. The devil that the Bible speaks of, as they did desire that dwelled in the place. Right? They wanted you to do that. And the coming of this mischief, see, it's just mischief, was sore and grievous to the people. It was grievous. It's grievous to you, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, for you to be calling on Jesus. It says, the altar also was filled with profane things. For you to say Jesus, when you're praying, your heart, your mind, that's an altar, man. Right? You're the temple. That's a profane thing that you're putting forth out of your temple, from the altar, which the law forbid, man. The laws of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai forbid for you to have profane things, right? Then it says, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So they made it illegal, right, for you to call yourself a Jew. These Edomites, right? These Greeks. They made it illegal. So what did you think after they made it illegal? They slipped. That's later on. They're slipping in other different little things, right? Lining this up with Egyptian philosophies and all these other different philosophies, so people can think that the Bible comes from something else, but not the Most High. First Maccabees chapter 6, verse 24, for which cause they of our nation besieged the tower, right? Because they became one with the heathen, right? So even the people of our own nation came against us, right? For such cause they of our own nation besieged the tower and are alienated from us. Moreover, as many of us as they could light on them slew and spoiled our inheritance, right? So you got wicked men of Israel, man, that try to teach you all sorts of BS, you know, Jesus and all these other different words and things like that. You know what I mean? Try to lead you the wrong way. It says, neither have they stretched out their hand against, neither have they stretched out their hand against us only, but also against their borders, right? So it wasn't just against us, man. Even you other regular peon Edomites, man, you're deceived. And behold, this day are they besieging the temple at Jerusalem, right? So they're even to this very day, they're seizing the temple of Jerusalem, right? How are they doing that? By giving you plantation Christianity or Serapis Christus, giving you what do you call it? You know, Catholic, Catholicism, Christian, Christianity, your oppressors' Christianity, man, right? Through Columbus and all that stuff, conquesting, killing you, murdering you, right? It says, and behold, this day are they besieging the tower at Jerusalem, right? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, right? To take it and take it the sanctuary, right? See, it's dealing with what we're meant to be worshiping, which your body is a sanctuary now. Your body is the temple, right? Your mind, your lob, your mind, your conscience, right? Giving you vain imaginations, right? Bethshora have they fortified, right? So they coming against it. They warn against it. They fortified, fight, to come against it, right? Wherefore if thus does not prevent them quickly, and ultimately that's what we're to do. We're supposed to tear down strongholds and imaginations, right? The unprofitable thoughts that you think that the letter J is equivalent to actually saying his name, as if there's E's and all this other stuff. And we gotta go into the color too. We gotta go into what the Lord actually looked like, right? So don't trip, because we're gonna go into that too. So it says so that's what we do. Quickly to tear down strongholds, right? Prevent them quickly. They will do the greater things. They will do greater things than these. Neither shall thus be able to rule them. So neither shall thus be able to rule them, right? So you're going to be able to rule your so-called mortal thoughts, right? You're supposed to be able to rule over your thoughts, man. But they're here to rule over you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, man. First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 46. Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Mashpah over against Jerusalem, for in Mashpah was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel, right? And that's pretty much what's happening now, man. People are leaving these so-called Christian churches and coming back to the truth, going to a place where it's undefiled, right? And that's ultimately what it is, man. You got to come to the conclusion that Yahweh, Bahasham, right, which means in the name Yahweh, which is the Father, Bahasham in the name Yahweh Shai means he saves or he delivers, right? Which is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, right? Is saying the undefiled names. Those names are not defiled, right? Because Yahweh being he is or he exists, the existing one, right? Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, he delivers or he saves. That's undefiled. That's unpolluted. Then they fasted that day. They fast that day and put on sackcloth. And ultimately, that's what we do, man. We're not like the elder Apostle Gabar was speaking about, the people, these other camps with the fancy garments, man, especially when they, purple and gold and all these different fancy things, man. Right? Not just putting on sackcloth for mourning. Because that's the time we're in. We're in the time of mourning. And cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes, right? And laid open the book of the law, right? Wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images, right? So they looked into the book of the law and was seeing they had got it back, and they seen the heathen starting to paint the likeness of their image. So what do you think so-called Jesus Christ is, man? When the self-proclaimed so-called white man is an Edomite, man. So they're painting the likeness of their image into this by giving you Jesus Christ, right? Yes, so this is our first Maccabees 3:51. For thy sanctuary is trodden down and profane, and thy priests are in heaviness and brought low, right? And that's ultimately what a lot of these people are. These are all so-called pastors that's brought low, like Creflo Dollar, all these other different pastors, even that freaking Berea dude. He's brought low. He's defeated. So his only thing is to do is let's just get along to go along with the heathen, but the heathen are getting ready to put the MOTB in you, and there ain't no forgiveness for the MOTB, right? And lo, the heathen are assembled together. So hey, they're assembling together too. So we're assembling together in what? In truth, to get to not have the temple profane, right? But they're assembling together too. What? To get carnal with us, though. Our warfares are what? Not carnal, right? So we're going to be mighty to pull down strongholds, man. The imagination of Jesus Christ. And lo, the heathens are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagine, right? See, that's their imagination, man. And so they putting their imagination into your head by teaching you all these different things, right? By making it against the law for you to proclaim yourself to be a Jew, to saying the laws are done away with, giving you so-called Jesus Christ or Jehovah or Jehovah, some made up names, right? says, they imagine against us, thus know it's, man. So the Lord already know what they imagine against us. So we're playing it back through the scriptures, man. The Lord already know what they're doing. So we're showing you that this can't be. You cannot be saying Jesus. He then sought to paint the likeness of their image in within our law, right? So you see the false image on the left side, the true image on the right side, right? So straight out of white supremacy, right? Straight out of the Bible, right? The truth, right? So yeah, because I seen a video where if you took this image that's on the left side and show anybody that image, they'll automatically say that it's Jesus Christ. But who taught you that? That's not the way it's described in the Bible, right? That's not the description. Even if you put him as a black man with like this long hair, they still say, well, it's Jesus, but it's a black Jesus, right? They're cool with that. They'll say it's Jesus, but they're not thinking that the one on the right side is the closest image you could possibly get, right? Of who the world English calls Jesus Christ, which his real name is Yahweh Shai. So this is John chapter 14, verse 8. Philip said unto him, Lord, show us the Father, and it suffices us. Yahushua said unto him, remember, the letter J is newly created. Back in the 1500s, the thing said 1600s, but around the 1500s, 1600s, created new. So it's not, and I showed you the alphabet in the Hebrew. There's no, right? So Yahushua said unto him, have I been so long time with you, and yet has thus not known me, Philip? Huh? Asking him a question, huh? He that have seen me, right? Let's say it again. Wait. He that have seen me have seen the Father. Wait, let's say it again. He that have seen me have seen the Father. So he's saying, if you see me, you see the Father, right? And how saidst thus then, show me the Father, right? Who being the brightness of his glory, whose glory? We're talking about Yahweh's glory, and the express image of his person, right? That's why he's saying, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. And upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had been himself, what? Purged our sins, sat on the right hand of the majesty on high, and right next to his Father. So they can't be the same person, right? Here in the blue letter, we're going to look up that word, express image, right?
Strong's G 5481. Charakter.
Karaktea, which sounds like charagma, right? Karaktea sounds like charagma. But let's see, the instrument used for engraving. Oh yeah, see, it's basically like, it's charagma. It's basically like charagma, right? Or carving, right? Because that's basically what they're gonna do with the charagma. They're putting that in there. It's like carving. It's like sliding that thing up underneath your skin, right? The MOTB, right? Then it has the mark stamped upon that instrument, right? Right? Basically going into, because the Most High has his own, basically his own charagma, basically in a sense. But then he has the charagma that Esau had, which is still the Lord's charagma, man. Right? Either which way. But the Lord has the wa, right? Which the mark, right? Which is basically in this sense, it's saying it's the charagma, right? Because the Lord, hey man, hey, come on now. A mark, or fixture, burned in, right? Burned into him, man. And the Lord is a consuming fire. Stamp on. Where's that one I seen? It's okay right here. Express image. The image of any person. Ooh, see, talking about the Most High. The thing marked likeness, right? Precise. So he's the precise likeness of Yahweh. That's why he said that, right? So reproduction in every respect. See, he's the reproduction of Yahweh, right? The Most High Father. He is, or the Ancient of Days, in every respect. Not just spiritually, because you could take that and just go, oh, he's just talking about his attributes, his characters. No, everything, his attributes, his characters, what he would look like. Yeah, the what? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, his whole the faculties, everything. Yeah. So this is Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld, right, which means look, pay attention, feast your eyes, look, pay attention, till the thrones were cast down. That's starting with Esau, Edom, and all these other nations are going to be cast down, right? And the Ancient of Days did sit, right? The Ancient of Days is the Father, Yahweh. He is, or he exists, right? Who stands without time. He's always existed, right? That's why he is, right? Yahweh, he is. Whose garment was white as snow. His garment, which is your clothing, not your skin, your garment, as white as snow, and the head of his head like the pure wool. So the head on his head is pure wool. So what is the head on Yahushai's head going to be? If he's the express image of his Father, right? You know what I mean? Pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire, which is basically talking about the chariots, right? What the world ignorantly calls UFOs. 12. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and because this is John on the island of Patmos, more than 2,000 years ago. He got put on a salt mine, right, for a punishment, and he's the only one that didn't die of all the disciples. And my opinion, I believe, because he was the one who knew about the Lord's love, right? You know what I mean? Because knowing how much the Lord loves you is big. It's huge. So they weren't gonna be able to kill him. You know what I mean? Because he knew the Lord's love. But it says, and I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks, which represents the churches, right? The Israelite camps that's out there, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, which is another way of saying basically Yahweh Shai, the Son of God, right? Right? It says, clothed with a garment down to the foot and girt about the paps with the golden girdle, right? So he has his basically his war belt on, but it's golden. It's almost like I said, like a championship belt, like a boxing championship belt, right? Because the real true champion is Yahweh Shai, man. But it says now it's gonna get into see how it's describing them. You know what I mean? Now it's gonna go further into describing them. His head and his top of his head and his hairs. So the hairs on his head, the hairs on his face, because in the law you cannot mar the corners of your beard. You must have a beard. So Yahweh Shai has a beard, right? Whereas white, like wool, right? White's the color, wool is the texture, just like you seen in that picture. No, more closer to what the Bible is actually saying he looks like. Look woolly, look woolly in texture, white in color, right? Or white in color, woolly in texture, as white as snow, right? Because wisdom causes a man's face to shine, right? So, and his eyes as a flame of fire. Yeah, you know what I mean? And his eyes is a flame of fire, right? Because he's coming back, pissed off, man. And his feet, right? It's going into more description. And his feet, right? Because he could see, because he said, he turned to look. And a lot of time when you're turning to look, you turn around, you kind of look at the ground first. And then you looking up. And his feet, like in color, right? Talking about your feet. Your feet is the same color as the rest of your body. Pretty much so. His feet like unto fine brass. Brass is a derivative of brown, as if it burned, and if you burn anything, it turns black in the furnace. And his voice as the sound of many waters, right? Point blank, period, man. A deep voiced Jake, man. Sound like Barry White. Something, man. So back at 2 Corinthians 10, verse 6. And having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience, man. So basically, we can rebuke you, man. We can tell you that you're going off. The letter J is only 400 to 500 years old, right? The Lord would be called a so-called black man, but there's no such thing as that. We're just Israelites, man. We're the Hebrew Israelites or just Israelites, right? No. So we can rebuke you. That's ultimately what this is saying. When you're casting down these strongholds, the Lord is saying, man, that stuff is off, and rebuke them, man. Just like Apostle Gabar was talking about, we're gonna rebuke Nate for not using the name, man. Right? For going off on the MOTB. Right? When your obedience is fulfilled. So what? Now that we're getting to the once you get to the point of learning the things that you're needed to learn, you're supposed to go out and teach Israel, just like it says, which is one of my favorite scriptures too. It's always been my favorite, but Pastor Har loves it too. It's one of his favorite scriptures. Eat the whole roll and go out and teach. That's ultimately what it is. Now, once it's your time, you eat the roll and you go out and teach Israel, right? Now you're with all readiness to what? To rebuke those that are disobedient, man. But why? Because you put all your disobedience into subjection first. You can't just go out there and teach and not put your disobedience to subjection. You know? It ain't no come as you are. Subject yourself first. And then, you know what I'm saying? Because ultimately that's what you want your wife to do, right? Women are supposed to submit. You have to submit to your husband, which is Yahweh Shai. That's it. There is no other way around it, man. That's all. You know? So call law Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakal Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the elders in Connecticut, the brothers in the Four Winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect, Shalom to the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, in meekness and with silence. A Shalom, a Abba Ball.